If you receive Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or survivor benefits, what I'm about to explain could directly affect your money. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not trying to scare you or get clicks. This is real. This is happening right now, and it matters to your financial security. Starting right now, beginning December 31st, the Social Security Administration is mailing out a new wave of important notices. And these are not routine letters. These are not just paperwork that you can file away and forget about. These are the kind of notices that quietly decide what happens to your benefits in January and beyond. Many people will open these envelopes and think nothing of them. They'll glance at the first paragraph, assume it's just another form letter, and toss it on the kitchen counter with the rest of their mail. Some won't open them at all. They'll see Social Security Administration on the envelope and assume it's just an annual statement or something that doesn't require immediate attention. And that's where the problem starts, because inside these letters are updates that can affect your monthly payment amount, your eligibility, your Medicare costs, and even whether your account is ready for future stimulus-related payments. These notices contain information about benefit recalculations that could change what you receive. They contain verification requests that, if ignored, can delay your payments. They contain Medicare premium adjustments that will affect your net deposit amount. And they contain language about payment system readiness that could determine whether you're positioned to receive any future relief payments quickly or whether you'll be stuck waiting while issues get sorted out. Before we go any further, take 1 second and subscribe to this channel. I know everyone asks for subscriptions, but hear me out. I post updates like this because these programs are not simple, and missing one small detail can cost you real money. The Social Security system is complex, bureaucratic, and often confusing. Most people don't understand how it works until something goes wrong. Subscribing helps you stay informed without stress, and it means you'll see these updates when they matter most, not weeks after the fact, when it's too late to take action. Now, let me be very clear right from the start, so no one panics. This does not mean benefits are stopping. This does not mean everyone is losing money, and this does not mean a stimulus check is guaranteed or that one is necessarily coming at all. But ignoring these notices can create delays, holds, or changes that many people don't see coming until it's too late. And that's exactly why I'm talking to you today. Because knowledge is power, and understanding what's happening before it becomes a problem is the difference between staying in control of your finances and scrambling to fix issues after they've already affected your payments. Because this mailing timed right at the end of the year is happening for a reason, and most people have no idea why. They don't understand the timing. They don't understand the purpose. They don't understand what the Social Security Administration is actually doing behind the scenes right now. So let me explain it clearly, step by step, so you know exactly what's going on and why it matters to you. Right now, at this very moment, the Social Security system is closing out the year, updating records, syncing payment systems, and preparing for January adjustments. This is the annual process that happens every December, and it's massive in scope. We're talking about a system that manages payments for over 70 million people, processes billions of dollars every month, and has to coordinate with multiple government agencies, banking institutions, and payment systems. That includes benefit recalculations based on cost of living adjustments and earnings records. It includes income reviews for SSI recipients to make sure they're still eligible at the current benefit level. It includes Medicare premium updates that will be reflected in Social Security payments starting in January. And it includes account verification to ensure that direct deposit information, mailing addresses, and personal details are all accurate and current. And starting December 31st, millions of people will be notified quietly by mail. No headlines in the news, no alerts on your phone, no email notification, just a letter in your mailbox that looks like every other letter you've ever received from Social Security. No headlines, no alerts on your phone, just a letter. And that's by design. The Social Security Administration still operates primarily through paper mail because it's legally recognized. It creates an official record, and it reaches everyone regardless of whether they have internet access or smartphones. Now, here's where it gets even more important. Some of these notices include new language, language tied to payment readiness, language tied to benefit verification, and language that references coordination with federal payment systems. the same systems used for stimulus and relief payments in the past. This isn't new language that was just invented. We saw similar wording in 2020 and 2021 when stimulus payments were being prepared. We saw it again when various relief proposals were being discussed in Congress. Most people will read right past it if they read the letter at all. But you shouldn't, because what happens in these final days of December can shape what your account looks like in January, February, and beyond. If there's an error in your file, now is when it gets caught. If there's missing information, now is when it gets requested. If there's a discrepancy that needs to be resolved, now is when the Social Security Administration flags it. This affects seniors living on fixed incomes who can't afford any disruption to their monthly payments. It affects disabled adults relying on SSI and SSDI who need those benefits to survive. It affects widows and survivors who lost their primary income earner and depend entirely on survivor benefits. It affects people who worked part-time this year and may not realize that their earnings could affect their benefit amount. It affects anyone who moved, changed banks, or had medical or income changes during the year. And here's the part no one explains clearly. The Social Security Administration sends these notices now because January payments are already being processed behind the scenes. The computer systems that calculate payments, generate direct deposits, and coordinate with the Treasury Department are already running the January batch. Once those systems lock in, once the payment file is finalized and sent to banks, fixing an issue becomes much harder. You're no longer making a simple update. You're trying to stop or recall a payment that's already in the pipeline. That's why these letters are so critical. They give you a narrow window to catch problems before they become much bigger problems. Now, before you get too excited, let me say this clearly. These notices do not mean a stimulus check is going out tomorrow. They do not guarantee extra money. I want to be absolutely honest about that because I've seen too many people get their hopes up based on misleading headlines or social media posts that promise things that aren't real. These notices are not stimulus payments. They're not announcements of new benefits. But they do determine whether your account is clean, verified, and ready if anything changes in the months ahead. And if you miss something, if you ignore a deadline, if you assume it doesn't apply to you, that's when people run into trouble. I've heard from people who missed a verification deadline and had their payments delayed for weeks. I've heard from people who didn't report a change in their living situation and ended up with an overpayment notice demanding thousands of dollars back. I've heard from people who moved and didn't update their address, and important notices about their benefits went to their old address where they never saw them. These aren't theoretical problems. They're real situations that happen to real people every single year. In a moment, I'm going to explain exactly what kinds of letters are being sent, what specific phrases you need to look for, and why December 31st is not a random date. I'll also break down how this connects to stimulus updates, what it really means for your money, and what simple steps you should take to protect your benefits. And most importantly, I'll show you how to stay calm and in control, because this process is about preparation, not punishment. The Social Security Administration isn't trying to take away your benefits. They're trying to make sure the right people get the right amounts at the right time. Now, here's the truth. The people who stay informed don't lose benefits. The people who read their mail don't face surprises. And the people who understand these notices are always one step ahead. They're not scrambling on the phone trying to figure out why their payment is different. They're not panicking because their deposit is late. They already know what to expect because they took 5 minutes to read a letter and understand what it was telling them. So let's make sure you're in that group. Let's make sure you understand exactly what's happening, why it's happening, and what you need to do. Because once you have that knowledge, once you understand the system, you can't be caught off guard. You're in control. Now let's talk about what the Social Security Administration is actually sending and why these letters are arriving right as the year comes to a close. December 31st is not a random date. This is not just whenever they happen to get around to sending mail. This is the window when Social Security finalizes end-of-year records and prepares January payments. It's a carefully planned timeline that happens every single year. Behind the scenes, systems are being updated, files are being reviewed, and benefit data is being locked in for the new year. That's why these notices matter so much. They're your last chance to catch issues before everything gets finalized. Most of the letters being mailed fall into a few key categories, and understanding them can save you a lot of confusion. Let me break down each type so you know what you're looking at when you open that envelope. First, there are benefit confirmation notices. These letters explain what your monthly payment will look like going into January. They may show the same amount you're used to, or they may reflect a small change based on updated calculations. This could be due to the cost of living adjustment, changes in Medicare premiums, updates to your earnings record, or corrections to previous calculations. Many people glance at these letters and assume nothing has changed, especially if the amount looks similar to what they've been getting. But the details matter. A $5 difference might seem small, but it could indicate a larger issue that needs attention. Next are payment schedule and processing notices. These explain when your payment is scheduled to arrive, especially around holidays and the start of the new year. Social Security payments follow a specific schedule based on your birth date, but holidays can shift that timing. Even when the amount stays the same, timing can shift slightly, and SSA documents those changes through mail. If you're budgeting carefully, if you're trying to time your bill payments to match your benefit deposit, these schedule changes matter. Knowing your payment is coming on the 15th instead of the 14th might seem trivial, but it could mean the difference between paying a bill on time or incurring a late fee. Then there are SSI and SSDI review notices. These are especially important if you had any income, support, or living arrangement changes during the year. SSI is particularly sensitive to these factors because it's a needs-based program. Even small changes, a temporary job that lasted just a few weeks, a friend or family member who helped with rent, someone moving into or out of your household, can trigger a routine review. SSA uses these letters to confirm that your information is still accurate. They're asking you to verify what they have on file so they can make sure you're getting the correct benefit amount, not too much and not too little. Another group of letters involves Medicare-related updates. These notices may explain adjustments to premiums, deductions, or coverage details for the coming year. Many beneficiaries don't realize that Medicare changes are communicated through Social Security mail, not Medicare mail alone. If you're enrolled in Medicare Part B or Part D, and most Social Security recipients are, the premiums are automatically deducted from your Social Security payment. When those premiums change, your net Social Security deposit changes too. These letters explain those adjustments so you understand why your deposit amount is different. There are also verification and information requests. These letters ask you to confirm your address, banking information, or identity details. This is not unusual, especially in our current environment where identity theft and fraud are serious concerns. The Social Security Administration needs to make sure they're sending payments to the right person at the right account. But this becomes critical at the end of the year because unverified accounts can face delays. If the system flags your account as needing verification and you don't respond, the payment processing can be held up while they investigate. Now, here's something most people don't realize. Social Security still relies heavily on paper mail for official communication because it's legally recognized, secure, and accessible to seniors who may not use email or smartphones. There are millions of beneficiaries who don't have computers or smartphones. There are millions more who have them but aren't comfortable using them for important financial matters. Paper mail remains the official method of communication because it reaches everyone. That's why these notices don't come with flashing alerts or push notifications. They come quietly in an envelope that looks ordinary, and that's why people miss them. It doesn't look urgent. It doesn't look like something that requires immediate attention, so it gets set aside, forgotten, or thrown away. Now let's talk about the part that's getting people's attention, the stimulus-related language. Some of these letters include wording about payment, coordination, federal disbursement systems, or account readiness. This language has appeared before during periods when relief payments were being considered or prepared. We saw similar wording before the economic impact payments in 2020. We saw it before the stimulus checks in 2021, and we're seeing it again now. Before you get too excited, understand this. This does not mean a stimulus payment has been approved. It does not mean extra money is guaranteed. I want to be crystal clear about that because I don't want you planning your budget around money that may never come. What it means is that Social Security is making sure beneficiary accounts are accurate, verified, and compatible with Treasury payment systems. That preparation matters if any future relief or adjustment happens. And if your information isn't correct, that's when people get left out. Think back to 2020 and 2021. Who got their stimulus payments first? People whose information was already in the system correctly, people who had direct deposit set up, people whose addresses were current. Who got their payments late or not at all? People with outdated information, people who had moved and didn't update their address, people whose bank account information was wrong, people who were getting paper checks sent to addresses where they no longer lived. The people who were prepared got their money fast. The people who weren't prepared faced delays, missed payments, and months of frustration trying to track down their money. Now, here's the truth most people never hear. The majority of these letters are informational. They are not warnings. They are not punishments. They're not threatening letters saying you did something wrong, but ignoring them can still cause problems. A missed verification request can slow payments. An unreported change can trigger reviews later. A wrong bank account can delay deposits. And once January payments are already processing, fixes take time. That's why these notices are arriving now before the systems fully lock in. You still have time to make corrections. You still have time to verify information. You still have time to respond to requests. But that window is closing. Who needs to pay the closest attention? Let me be specific about this because not everyone faces the same level of risk. What real-world issues are people facing because they overlooked similar letters in the past? And how can these notices directly affect your money? Because this isn't just paperwork. This is about protecting your benefits, your stability, and your peace of mind going into the new year. Now, let's talk about who this affects the most and how these notices can directly impact your money in real life. Because while these letters are being sent to millions of people, not everyone faces the same level of risk if something is overlooked. Some people can afford to be a little less vigilant. Others need to pay very close attention because a single missed notice could have serious consequences. If you receive SSI, you should pay very close attention. SSI, Supplemental Security Income, is highly sensitive to income, support, and living arrangements. The eligibility rules are complex and strict. Even small changes, and I mean really small changes, can trigger a review or adjustment. A family member helping with bills could be counted as income or support. A temporary job, even if it only lasted a few weeks, needs to be reported. A change in housing, moving from your own place to living with someone else, can affect your benefit calculation. If SSA sent you a notice asking to confirm information and it's ignored, payments can be delayed or adjusted later. And those adjustments often come with overpayment notices, meaning they claim you received too much and they want it back, sometimes demanding thousands of dollars in repayment. If you receive SSDI, especially while working part-time, these letters matter even more. Social Security disability insurance allows some earnings, but there are strict limits. SSA closely tracks earnings, and end-of-year reviews often focus on whether income stayed within allowed limits. A notice may ask you to confirm wages or employment status. They're checking to make sure you didn't exceed substantial gainful activity levels, which would make you ineligible for disability benefits. Ignoring it can lead to confusion, overpayment notices, or temporary holds while SSA verifies details. I've heard from people who worked part-time within the allowed limits but didn't respond to a verification notice, and their benefits were suspended until they could prove their earnings were under the threshold. Seniors receiving retirement benefits are also affected, especially if anything changed this year. Moving to a new address, switching banks, changing direct deposit, or even correcting a name issue after marriage or divorce can trigger verification. Many people assume SSA already has the information. They think, I told them when I moved, or I updated my bank account online, they should have it. But these letters are how SSA confirms it officially. Until they receive confirmation in response to an official notice, the change isn't considered verified in their system, and unverified changes can cause payment delays.
Medicare beneficiaries should be especially alert.
Some of these notices explain premium adjustments or deductions that will begin in January. The standard Medicare Part B premium for 2026 is increasing. If you don't understand why your net payment looks different, why your Social Security deposit is smaller than it was in December, the explanation is usually in one of these letters. Missing it leads to frustration when the deposit arrives lower than expected. People panic. They think something is wrong. They spend hours on the phone trying to reach Social Security, when the answer was sitting in a letter they didn't read. Now, let me walk you through a few real-world situations that happen every year. These aren't hypothetical scenarios I'm making up. These are actual situations I've heard about from viewers, from family members, from friends, and from news reports about Social Security issues. A senior receives a letter in late December but sets it aside, assuming it's just an annual update, just another piece of Social Security paperwork. The letter actually asks for confirmation of bank information because the system detected a potential discrepancy, or because they're doing routine verification. January arrives, and the payment is delayed because the account wasn't verified in time. The senior is now scrambling, calling Social Security, sitting on hold for hours, trying to get someone to help them while their bills are coming due and they don't have money in their account. An SSI recipient had a few months of part-time income earlier in the year. They reported it at the time, or they thought they did. SSA sends a notice asking to confirm totals, asking for verification of the exact amounts earned and the months worked. The letter goes unopened because it looks like routine mail. Later, SSA flags the account and pauses payment while reviewing records. They want to make sure the benefit was calculated correctly based on that income. The payment stops. The recipient doesn't understand why, and now they're facing potential overpayment claims on top of losing their current income. A Medicare beneficiary sees a slightly smaller Social Security deposit in January. Panic sets in. They think something is wrong. They think they're being cheated or that there's been an error. They worry that someone has stolen their benefits or that they're being penalized for something. The explanation was in a December letter that detailed a premium adjustment for Medicare Part B. It showed exactly how much the premium increased and how that would affect the net Social Security payment. But it was never read. The person threw it away or filed it without opening it, and now they're panicking unnecessarily. These aren't rare cases. They happen every single year, thousands of times, maybe tens of thousands of times. And they're completely avoidable if people just take a few minutes to read their mail and understand what it's telling them. Now, let's connect this back to the stimulus update because this is where people get confused and where a lot of misinformation spreads. Some notices reference federal payment systems, Treasury coordination, or benefit verification language. That sounds serious. It sounds official. People assume it means a check is coming or that something is wrong. They read phrases like payment system coordination or federal disbursement readiness, and they think it must mean something big is happening. Here's the truth. This language means SSA is making sure accounts are accurate and up to date. It's about readiness, not promises. They're preparing the system to handle whatever might come in the future, whether that's regular payments, potential relief payments, tax refunds, or any other federal payment that might need to be distributed to Social Security beneficiaries. During previous relief periods, the people who had clean, verified accounts received payments faster. Their information was already correct. Their direct deposit was already set up properly. Their addresses were current. When the stimulus payments were approved, the system just processed them automatically. The people with outdated information faced delays or missed out entirely. They had to file additional paperwork, track down missing payments, wait for checks to be mailed to old addresses, and then remailed to new ones. It was a nightmare. That's why this matters now. Even if no stimulus is announced tomorrow, even if no relief payment materializes in January or February or March, preparation protects you. Having accurate information in the Social Security system protects you. It means your regular payments go smoothly. It means if there's ever any additional benefit or adjustment, you're positioned to receive it quickly. It means you're not scrambling to fix problems after they've already caused you financial hardship. Now, here's something reassuring you need to hear. These notices are not a sign that SSA is targeting you. They are not a threat. They are not the government trying to take away your benefits or catch you doing something wrong. They are part of routine year-end processing. Every government agency that handles payments goes through this process. The IRS does it. The Department of Veterans Affairs does it. State welfare agencies do it. It's standard practice to close out the year, verify records, and prepare for the new year. The problem isn't the letter. The problem is ignoring it. The letter is trying to help you. It's giving you information you need or asking you to verify information so your benefits continue smoothly. I'm going to show you exactly what to do next. Simple steps, no stress, no panic. Because once you understand how to handle these notices, you take back control and you go into the new year confident, informed, and protected. You don't have to worry. You don't have to lose sleep. You just need to take a few simple actions, and then you can relax knowing everything is in order. Now, let's talk about exactly what you should do next, because this is where calm action makes all the difference. This is where you shift from being worried or confused to being in control and prepared. Starting December 31st, check your mail carefully. I mean really carefully. Don't just grab your mail and throw it on the counter. Take a moment each day to look through it. Open every letter from the Social Security Administration, even if the envelope looks routine, even if you think nothing has changed. These notices are sent for a reason, and the details inside matter. I know it's tempting to ignore mail that looks like junk or routine paperwork, but Social Security notices are different. They matter. They contain information that affect your financial life. When you open the letter, look for a few key things. First, check the date on the notice. Look for any deadlines mentioned in the letter. Deadlines matter. If the letter asks you to respond or confirm information, don't wait weeks. The earlier you act, the smoother everything goes. If there's a deadline of January 15th and you wait until January 14th to respond, you're cutting it too close. Mail can get delayed. Systems can be slow. Respond as soon as you can, ideally within a week of receiving the notice. Second, read the reason for the notice. Is it confirming your benefit amount? Is it asking you to verify income, address, or bank details? Is it explaining a Medicare premium adjustment? Understanding the purpose helps you know whether you need to take action or just file it for your records. Some notices are purely informational. Others require a response. Make sure you know which type you're dealing with. Third, review your personal information carefully. Make sure your name, address, and bank account are correct. Look at every detail. Even a small error in your bank account number, one digit transposed, can cause your payment to go to the wrong account or bounce back. A wrong address means you won't receive future notices. A misspelled name can cause verification issues. These details matter more than you might think. Now, one of the smartest things you can do is log into your Social Security account online. If you haven't created an account yet, now is the time. Go to SSA.gov and set up your My Social Security account. It's free, it's secure, and it gives you access to all your information. Compare what you see online with what's in the letter. If everything matches, that's peace of mind. You know the information in their system is correct. If something doesn't look right, you've caught it early. And that's exactly the point of these notices. They give you a chance to catch errors before they cause problems. Here's what you should not do. Do not panic. Do not assume the worst. Do not throw the letter away thinking it doesn't matter or that you'll deal with it later. Do not wait until payments are delayed before taking action. By then, it's too late to fix things quickly. You're in damage control mode instead of prevention mode. And if you're unsure about a notice, if something in the letter doesn't make sense or seems concerning, use official channels. Go directly to the Social Security website at ssa.gov. Use the phone number listed on the notice itself, not a number from a Google search or a number someone texts you. Avoid third-party calls or messages claiming to help you with SSA issues. There are a lot of scams out there targeting Social Security beneficiaries, and they often use these official-looking notices as an opportunity to trick people. Now, let's address the stimulus update one last time calmly and clearly, because I want to make sure there's no confusion. There is no guaranteed stimulus payment announced today. As of right now, there is no confirmed stimulus check, no approved relief payment, no extra money that's been signed into law. These notices are not checks. They are not announcements of new payments, but they are part of keeping beneficiary accounts accurate and ready. If relief or adjustments are approved in the future, whether that's next month or next year, the people who stay up to date now are the ones who avoid problems later. Preparation is protection. Taking care of these simple tasks now means you're positioned for whatever might come. And here's the reassurance you deserve. If you read your mail, verify your information, and respond when needed, your benefits are secure. Social Security is not looking to take money away. They're not trying to cut people off. They're not targeting beneficiaries. They're making sure payments continue smoothly into the new year. This process exists to protect you, even if it doesn't always feel that way. The bureaucracy can be frustrating. The letters can be confusing. The system can seem impersonal and cold. But the underlying purpose is to make sure the right people get the right money at the right time. So stay informed, stay calm, stay one step ahead. You don't need to stress about this. You don't need to lose sleep. You just need to be aware, read your mail, and take simple actions when needed. That's it. That's all it takes to protect yourself and your benefits. And if you want clear, honest updates that explain what no one else takes the time to break down, make sure you subscribe. I don't post clickbait. I don't make false promises about stimulus checks that aren't real. I don't try to scare you or mislead you. I give you the facts, explain what they mean, and tell you what to do about them. Staying informed is the best way to protect your benefits and your peace of mind. It's the best way to avoid surprises and stay in control of your financial life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to watch this and educate yourself. That's already more than most people do, and it puts you ahead of the game. Stay informed, stay confident, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next update. Take care of yourself and your benefits. You've earned them, and you deserve to receive them without hassle or stress.